Well, it's here. It's new. It's the brand new racing podcast on the planet. It is the Racing Alternative. What's alternative about it? Well, we've got Stephen Darbyshire on board, and you couldn't get more of an alternative figure anywhere on the planet. Pro punter joins us now, and for every single episode. How are you doing, Stephen?
Well, I'm great. You're not new, are you? You've been around since, I don't know, The Price is Right and Celebrity Squares and all them, haven't you?
Celebrity Squares.
There you go. That wasn't on your bingo card. It's also available on NRG Bet.
Absolutely isn't. We'd like to thank as well our sponsors, our NRG Bet, for supporting the podcast. Where we would be without them? Stephen would have been able to afford his Chinese takeaway at lunchtime had it not be for our sponsors. So good to have them on board.
Yes.
Listen, we wanted to start the podcast, being upbeat and looking at different aspects of racings, but there's been some very sad news today that we have to include, and it's about the death of young Tommie Jakes, who sadly passed away today. This recording is on the Thursday, and I met Tommie around about 6 months ago, and a more delightful young man in the industry you couldn't have found. And it's very sad when a young life is lost, whatever the department in the country is concerned, whether it's just a juvenile, whether it's someone who's sadly been murdered. But we don't know the circumstances of how Tommie has died, but it really has gone through the heart of the racing community here. And we just like to pass on our sympathy and our support to Tommie's family, Stephen. It's a grey day, isn't it?
It's terrible. I mean, he was 19 years old. He had his entire life ahead of him.
Yeah.
Whether he was a good jockey or not is irrelevant. For the record, he was. He was just so nice when he was being interviewed. And watching, I must mention, watching John Hunt, who had on ATR this afternoon, it was absolutely heartbreaking. And my condolences go out to his entire family and friends. It's a sad day.
And no doubt as well, one of my closest friends in the racing industry, John, it must have been tough for John to have
Yes.
gone through that as well, having experienced similar circumstances. Yeah, the sport of horse racing has its ups and downs all the way through the year, through the last 10 years since I've been interested in it, and been in it for round about 40 years. But undermining the bricks and mortar of horse racing is us, the punters. We're the ones that finance horse racing. And for me, there's never been a time in horse racing when it's been more competitive for bookmakers to grab a slice of the market, which made it really astounding that in the past week we've had this big episode with AK Bet. Stephen, just fill us in on this.
Yeah, so basically what happened was I think it was all last Sunday. Ian, who goes under Brothers B and has connections in the sport, or certainly in the betting industry, says, what heinous act caused this to happen, you might ask? This is in regards to an account closure at AK. I had £20 anytime TD scorer on John Dotson at 11-2 and £20 on George Kittle at 2-1. AK were top price on both, according to Odds Checker. What a joke at AK Bets at Tony Calvin.
Right.
And then AK responded with a tweet which basically said the price was stale, and subsequently said that he didn't really have a profitable account for AK. And I think that then begs the question generally about punting, doesn't it? I mean, how have we got to the point where a punter should be shit scared by backing the top price on Odds Checker? Now, you might say, well, the pro punters will know if it's 6.4 on the machine and they're 7-1, you know the price is stale, so play the game a bit. But for 20 quid, it looks harsh, and I think things are probably going to get worse with Miss Thieves as well, because the value in racing is obviously going to go. This account had 13 bets on it. The spreadsheet has been published. Nothing more than a couple of £100. We got to the point where you've got to be careful that the stuff around what the government are trying to do
Yeah.
in responsible gambling and things like that isn't clouded with using it as a conduit to state restrictions.
I agree. I mean, it was hardly breaking the bank, wasn't it, as well? But this has been the way that the betting industry has gone over the last, I would say, I've noticed it over the last 10, 15 years. I'm mainly back anti-post, right? And I had a really good Cheltenham, what, about 4 or 5 years ago? And I actually won a few grand, okay? But if I was to add up my profit and loss from the previous 5 years, I think I was probably level anti-post. And yet when I went in to have a bet post that Cheltenham year, I was restricted to 10 and 20 pence each way bets. And I'm thinking to myself, PR for the general public out there, PR for themselves, for the ultra competitiveness of the business, which has never been as bloody competitive as it is now. Bookmakers should be scrambling for our money, giving an extra half point, giving a chance for us to win above the norm of their rules, and not leaving it for a bloody computer to tell us when we go online to have another bet after a win that we can have 10 pence each way. For me, in a lot of different bookmakers, the industry for the punter, and not even for you and me, you're a pro punter. I'm talking about the £5 each way punter online. For me at the moment, the majority, a lot of the bookmakers, the industry's soiled.
Well, I will speak up a bit for AK here, because at least he's explained it. Now, we might not agree with the reasoning, but at least he's had some balls to explain it.
Okay.
I mean, it's a complete PR disaster for him, but at least he's had the balls to explain it. You go to other bookmakers
Yeah.
who may be based in the Midlands area, and look, what we give for one of those accounts. But I think that the point is that punters generally are getting pissed off
Yeah.
with these ridiculous restrictions, and I'm afraid it's going to get worse with thieves.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. Okay, well, let's just hope that other bookmakers learn from this, and it's all about the goodwill in the industry. And if you want to retain your customers, you have to do certain things. It's as simple as that. Okay, listen to this, Stephen. I'm going to read out some dates. Who am I talking about? Year 2000, plane crash. 2012, failed a drugs test. 2023, farewell tour. And I'm going to give it away now because in any case. 1996, through the card on Champions Day at Ascot. You love him or you hate him. And even though his farewell tour started in bloody 2023, apparently he's finally retiring this year. Frankie Dettori, yeah?
Well, he's going to South America. I mean, for God's sake, it's just getting a little bit monotonous, isn't it?
It's
I'll
getting
just
on
tell
your
you, I'll
tits,
just
isn't it? I could tell, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I'll just tell you a story about Frankie. I used to love him, right?
Did you?
So I would be about 7. I ran up to him.
Did
He
you?
gets out of a helicopter at Haydock in 1994. I ran up to him.
Yeah.
I rugby tackled him, and then
What did you?
everything.
Were you shouting on the way to him, Daddy,
Yeah, I
Dad,
wanted
Daddy,
his
Daddy?
autograph, and he was lovely with me. He goes through the card at Ascot.
Yeah.
Everything went well, didn't it? But money can sour people, success can sour people, and to an extent, my opinion of Frankie has been soured. He failed that drugs test. Okay, well, it wouldn't have been my idea at whatever age he was then of having a good time. And then there was all that stuff with Listowel last year, and that really made him look like a complete and utter. Was it Listowel
Yeah,
or
it
was
was.
it Ballinrobe? Yeah.
What is the word you're looking for? Prima donna.
Well, it made him look like a tosser,
Okay,
to be
fair enough.
honest.
In
The,
layman's
the, the
terms,
word
yeah.
I was looking for was tosser. I mean, what Frankie failed to realise at that time was racing had made him, and do you know what? People liked him, and he owed a little bit back. So demanding money to go to Listowel at 52 years old was frankly a greedy and horrible decision.
Okay, so in your view, does that tarnish his legacy? I mean,
Yes,
23
yes.
classics, thousands of winners.
Yeah, right. that you've got to differentiate between Dettori the jockey, who was very good, although he didn't like riding out for places, did he?
No.
And Dettori the man,
Okay.
who, in my opinion, he's success has gone to his head. It happened to Kerry Katona, it might have happened to Frankie as well.
But
So,
Kerry wasn't as good on the back of a horse, was she?
well, she was good at riding things.
Okay. All right, fair. Now, where does he, that's terrible. I almost don't get taken to court for that. Where does he figure in the pantheon of jockeys all time?
Well, when he was good, I think he's damn near the top. Just for Ascot. And
Yeah,
that was a truly remarkable achievement. If
yeah.
you think,
Ridiculous.
I mean, they've massacred the racing calendar since then, haven't they?
Yeah.
But if you think, that was a Group 1 day. You had handicaps. This wasn't some shit card at Brighton. This was a
Ah,
fantastic card at Ascot, and he went through it. And it probably remains one of the best flat racing achievements you'll see in your lifetime.
okay, so it's goodbye, Frankie, from everybody here at the Racing Alternative. If you just joined us, good to have you with us.
He's going to South America, though, isn't
Well,
he?
it is. Well, that's where the Nazis went, so he's in good company there, I suppose. The people that you don't like at all. Don't forget, of course, the Racing Alternative was brought to you in conjunction with NRG Bet. You can get us on any number of different outputs, can't you, Stephen? Where can you find us? I think YouTube is one of them,
Apple,
isn't it?
YouTube,
YouTube.
YouTube. You can connect YouTube to your telly. So, but make sure you subscribe, because that's a sort of aid memoir for you for the week, isn't it?
God, do you know what? People listening to this podcast for the first time, you know how posh Stephen is. I'm sure he definitely went to public school. There's no way.
Didn't actually.
You
There you
didn't. I
go.
tell you what, mate. Honestly,
I went to a red brick university.
you could have been a
They
Tory
polished
MP.
me.
You could have been a Tory MP from Canterbury, as far as I was concerned.
Well, yes, quite.
Let's go on to the
Although I don't
weekend.
have a criminal record, which probably rules me out.
I'm not even going there. Let's go on to this weekend. Arguably the first big NH meeting of the season at Wetherby. I remember going up there normally November, December, and they used to have this amazing steak and kidney pie, chips, peas, and gravy. I know they don't do it anymore, which is pissing you off a little bit. But the card at Wetherby for this meeting year on year seems to be just desperately disappointing. We're going to talk about the Mayor's Hurdle with Stephen Goodman and his Dysart Enos, only 3 attracted to it. What can we do to boost a meeting like Wetherby numbers-wise?
I think there's a more general question about the quality that we've got in British racing. I mean, you look at the winners of the Charlie Hall, and if you go back 30 years, I remember going to these. You've had the likes of, Barton Bank, Young Hustler, One Man, who was it was a great horse. One Man. You then go to Seymour Business. Old Grey Abbey won it. And then you look at the last few years. You've had the Real Whacker, Gentleman's Game, Brave Man's Game. Okay, Surname won it in COVID. Definitely Red, Bally Optic,
Oh dear.
Irish Cavalier.
Oh dear.
You know that they're hardly rollers off the tongue.
And
And
before your
look,
time, Stephen, you could even go back even further, couldn't you, with Silverbuck and Bragourn and
yeah, and Wayward
horses like
Lad
that?
and
Yeah,
Borough
Wayward
Hill
Lad.
Lad
Yeah, yeah.
and all that. But it is an indictment on national hunt racing in this
Huge.
country.
Yeah,
in
huge.
in in England, isn't it? Because you've got what's our good staying chaser at the moment? Can anybody name one?
No, no.
You
What
you
about?
know you might be saying, oh well, Caldwell Potter will do something. Well,
Well, you don't really know.
maybe,
Yeah,
but
against
but
all the Irish, yeah. What about a bonus? What about a really traditional big bonus that starts off at Wetherby and then goes through one of the big Christmas races? It might only be a 2-leg bonus, but possibly a 3-leg, ending in one of the festivals in spring, and therefore you have time for a horse to rest in between the first 2 legs and then going into the spring festival. I mean, does that work? Or
oh
is that
Paul, oh
outdated?
Paul,
I know you're going to say
stop
it's outdated.
swearing.
I know you're going to say
I'm
it's
not going to
outdated.
say it's outdated. You just said a point there which pisses me off.
Oh, go on then.
Okay,
Yeah.
you said, oh, they can have a break. This is the bloody problem with jump racing. What they do is they might run twice before Christmas. Oh shit, we can't run in January and February.
Yeah.
It really is incredibly annoying how these horses are wrapped up in cotton wool. When you've got a horse on its A game, it's a pretty good idea to run it as frequently as you can, because guess what? It might not be the same next year. I think in regards to your idea of the bonus, what's happened to this race is, well, you've had Ascot racing this day, and you've got an open handicap. You've got Down Royal for the Irish. You've got the Betfair in a few weeks, which is worth far more and has more prestige. And as a result, the Charlie Hall is, it's like very strong cordial and then putting water in.
Okay. I can take that, but I'd also say on back of that some horses are more hardy than others, and others are more fragile than the hardy ones, obviously. So I suppose
Yeah, but
I get your point. I get your point.
yeah,
Absolutely,
yeah.
I get your point. Okay, well, welcome back to the Racing Alternative in conjunction with our friends at NRG Bet. Good to have you back with us. A little bit of a special section here. It's kind of a bonus. I'm not talking about Derbyshire. We've had enough of him already. But we've got with us from the Good Stock Syndicate, Stephen Goodman, who basically arranges all of the syndicate. And he's got some really good horses, of course, in his care. Dysart Enos runs in the big listed mares race at Wetherby on Saturday. Stephen, you're warmly welcome to the Racing Alternative. Tell us how you got into the bunch of horses you've got at the moment.
Right. Well, my son got one of those vouchers to go and visit a yard, and he went to Fergal's yard, and he said, "Do you want to come down?" And we went down, and I didn't know Fergal at all, and I thought, this is someone I could get on with. He's down to earth.
He's so easygoing, isn't he?
Yeah. And COVID then happened, and he actually did quite well through COVID. And I thought, right, I'll get a horse with him. And it took a while to find the right one. And I said, go and find me one. And I also decided at the same time I get one locally, and I got one with Donald McCain. And it built up from there before we knew where we are. The interesting one was getting Dysart was at the Aintree, the Thursday of the Aintree Festival, when they had the auction afterwards. And we were very lucky because there was another horse that day, Fancy Girl, which Willie Mullins bought for 200,000, and that had beaten Dysart, and that would have been out of our price range, etc. And we basically said, well, we'll go for the runner-up. She was a closing second. Yeah, what we didn't realise at the time, because if you've ever watched these Irish point-to-points, they're videoed on the back of an ice cream van. You hardly get any proper pictures. And what we didn't realise till afterwards, we got told, is that she made an awful error in the back straight, and she was just making up the ground, etc., all the way through. And she finished really strongly. But we never knew what we'd got, and it was very interesting. We went to Ludlow to a bumper, and Fergal didn't even go. Fergal and I were both at Haydock. And, all of a sudden she goes and wins by about 8-9 lengths. And we think, oh, this could be a serious horse. And then when she won at Market Raisin, we thought, nah, this is a proper horse now. And then she
how exciting that is as well. And we fast forward
King's Gamble should be done.
We fast forward to last year, and of course, all of a sudden, your second favourite for the Mares Novice Hurdle. I know
that was so frustrating.
I got a price on there as well as you did, and all of a sudden, you send out a message. Was it 48 hours, 24 hours before?
No, it was the day. It was the day of the race.
What happened there? She just was.
She'd gone. She'd knocked herself, and and she just, we had to take her out, and she had this bad cut. She has a habit sometimes of hitting into herself, and she'd just done it, and there was no way, we could run her, and we're all convinced that day, because the Irish horses were favourite, Better Days Ahead, Brighter Days Ahead, and we were convinced, we were going to run a big race. And when that race, panned out, we were still convinced after the race that we would have won it.
It was very slowly run, wasn't it?
Do you ever remember? Do you ever remember that Vicar of Dibley one where she goes, "It should have been me"? That's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking immediately after the race. Yeah. And then after that moment, it was just nothing went right because we missed out on that race. We couldn't get her right. She then picked up some sort of a bug. We couldn't get her right for Aintree. And so she went through 10 months, 11 months without a race, and then goes and runs in the Great Wood without a race. And in hindsight, she ran a really good race, coming third by 3
'Cause she was
lengths.
very fresh that day, wasn't she?
Yeah,
Very
she
fresh.
was fresh.
Yeah.
And the other thing is Johnny Burke felt no one was putting Harry Cobden under pressure. Burdett Road was having an easy run of it. Someone had to go and try and, make a race of it. And that most probably cost us second place in the end. Be Aware got second. And in hindsight, we all know what we should have done. We should have run her on the flat for a couple of races, got her race fit, wouldn't have affected her handicap mark, and then I think, it might have been a different result, the Great Wood.
Okay. So
And then
fast forward to this 2025, second half of 2025. You've given her a few runs on the flat.
Yeah.
No problems at all. She's fit. She's fresh. And you must have been absolutely delighted when the decks came out for Saturday's race at Wetherby.
Well, there's a good chance of place money, isn't there?
It's three grand minimum.
Well, to be honest, it makes it you almost can run whatever race you want to run. Do you want to take the lead, and just set the pace? Do you want to just, go alongside the other horses, play for your finishing speed and the fact you're getting a weight allowance from both of them? I'll leave it to Johnny in that sense. I mean, it's really tactically, he's almost got a free rein on how he wants to run the race, to be honest.
Of course.
Because I can't see those two wanting to just go and make a pace. They're not those type of horses, etc. So, as I say, does he want to take a lead, an easy lead, and see what happens, or does he want to just hunt up alongside them and see who's got the best finishing speed? Yeah.
Yeah. Now, unbeknown to Paul earlier, I sent my selections through, and Dysart was one of them. And here's the theory, Stephen,
Go on.
that she will just completely outspeed them. I think the runs on the flat are a good thing. I was actually at Kempton when she ran, and I backed her, and she put her up. I think she'll outspeed them. I think you've got the weight allowance. I think Golden Ace around Wetherby. I mean, I don't know if he's put 27 millimeters of rain on. I mean, I don't know what you think about that, but you've got a fitness edge, you've got a speed edge. How worried are you? Let's say my theory is right and Dysart wins. What in the back of your mind? How worried are you about the handicap mark?
I'm not overly worried about the handicap mark because I'm not sure if she runs well here that we'll run her in handicaps much more. We would most probably look for graded races for if she wins. So the handicap mark's secondary to Dysart. And I will tell you that Fergal's not a betting man. He doesn't bet, etc. And what I get from Fergal is when he's very comfortable with the horse.
Yeah.
And he's very, very comfortable with Dysart now. I used to get the same thing from him. There was occasional times when with one of the other horses, let's say Young Buster, and you go, he's spot on today. And that's all Fergal can tell you. He's not going to tell you the race, but he's got him right. And I think he feels, out of all the problems last year, because our big mistake was running her at Ascot, and she hated it, and it took us a long time to get her over that. But he says she's in a good place at the moment, and that's the thing with mares. Half of it's mental. Yeah, it's not just physical with mares; it's mentally. Are they there?
It's the same with Stephen. It's not just physical; it's mental with you, isn't it, Derbyshire?
Oh, totally.
Well, yes, it is completely mental. Completely mental.
So she goes there. She goes there in A1 condition. She's fit. She's fresh.
Yeah.
Mentally and physically, everything's right for her. So you must be really hopeful.
I'm hopeful of a good run. I mean, you could argue, if you wanted to, that she's not as good a hurdler as Golden Ace, but I think she's a quicker horse than Golden Ace. But Golden Ace over hurdles has got a proven record, and she's she's a real serious horse. I mean, she was lucky to win the Champion Hurdle, but you got to complete the course to win it. And Stateman and Constitution Hill didn't. And it's a tremendous, I think Dawn Run's the only other mare that's won it, isn't it?
Flaky Dove.
Oh, Flaky Dove,
And they received allowances. Dawn Run wouldn't have won it. Dawn Run beat Seamer, who was a 66-1 shot, and I remember it because I backed Seamer each way, and Dawn Run wouldn't have won, arguably in theory, without getting that allowance. So it's a load of poppycock, isn't it? That
and it was your 40th birthday, Paul.
No, well, actually, it was my 45th. But there you go. Stephen,
and what's the plan on the flat, Stephen, while we've got you? So you've had 2 runs. I don't. Obviously, the handicapper won't watch this. You're probably going to get a mark of 72, 73.
Well, we've got to do. Sorry, we've got to do the third run. My view is she wants the third run whenever's convenient, etc. within there, and then we'll look for a spring flat campaign. It'd be nice to get her, because I'm local to it, if we could get her into the Chester Cup or the Chester Plate. One of those two would be a nice start for her, I think. And then see, because let's be honest, the long distance handicap races on the flat have gone to a lot of jump horses over the last few years. And the mares, Henry de Bromhead's done an amazing job with his mares, winning a number of the top flat races. So we would see, because at the moment, as you know, Campton was just 1.5 miles. The first race, she missed the break. Second one, she rode a good race, I think. I think you'll find that the 2 that beat her were decent, 1.5 mile flat horses.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm hopeful that, our view is that there is a good win or two in Dysart, and she just didn't get the breaks last year. I'd almost like to put a line through the whole year. If she was fully fit, she wins the Scottish Champion Hurdle, in my view. She only lost by a length. And again, she struck into herself. She's a lovely horse. She's a decent horse. And if everything goes well, she's got somewhere along the line a big win in it, and that's what I'm hoping for.
Brilliant stuff. Brilliant stuff. Stephen, listen, thank you for joining us. Good luck at the weekend. Have a lovely holiday in Lanzarote. I wish I was coming with you, but you never invited me or Derbyshire. I think Stephen's more of an Ibiza boy, aren't you, Stephen?
No, Tenerife.
Oh, Tenerife. All right, then. Brilliant stuff. But good luck, Stephen, and hopefully we'll speak to you further along the line this season.
Yeah, feel free to do so.
Cheers, matey.
Great. Good luck with that.
Well, thanks to Stephen Goodman. My word, he can talk. He can talk more than Stephen Darbyshire. Is it the first name that's in common with that?
Yes. Although he doesn't talk crap, and I do.
Well, I think that's debatable. You're listening to and watching the Racing Alternative, brought to you in conjunction with NRG Bet. We're delighted to be teaming up with them. Helps pay Stephen's wages. You can bet with them, of course, any of our selections, which are coming up now. Love it or hate it. I think Stephen's got 3. I've got 2. I'll start off with my first one. I'm not sure we've got any prices yet, but it will have by the time this podcast comes out. 3:35 at Newcastle. It's a track I don't like to back horses in. It's a low-grade handicap, 1.25 miles. I'm going to put up Prince Achille here, who's been running over 1.5 miles of late. It's quite plainly too far for this horse. He's won off marks of 65, 62 and 57 in the last year and placed twice off 65. He's down to 60, but here's the key to him. Coming back from 1.5 miles to 1.25 miles, Stephen, he needs pace in the race. And you look at races at Newcastle where they're 5-6 furlongs, 1 mile, 1.5 miles, and even the best of us, when we look at a makeup of a race, we get it wrong. There might be 2 or 3 horses that like to lead off. There might be 2 or 3 pressers, so many midfield horses, hold-up horses, but you can never be sure. I think this race has got loads of speed in it. What price am I looking at? 10 or 12 to 1, round about that for an each way.
Well, I was gonna take the mick out of you a little here.
Well, I don't care.
What I was gonna say is, right, if you're putting these horses up, I always look at formed markets, okay?
Right.
So you need to tell the people out there, what's your minimum price you would go in at?
I was going to if you shut your gob, because I actually do my own SPs, I've got them between 10 and 12 to 1. I think that's really realistic. in this grade. You know, it's one of those throw up. I know you love going to Wolverhampton because you call it the friendliest race course in the world. It's the bloody coldest race course in the world, that's for sure. But
Yes.
like you, there's one thing we've got in common. Actually, no, there's one thing we haven't got in common. State of your hair, you've got to cut it, all right? There's one thing we have got in common. We love low grade
I'm
handicaps,
worth
yeah?
it.
You are worth it. We love low grade handicaps, yeah? We love
Yes.
dissecting low grade handicaps because if you go back far enough and you actually look at this, the key to this is looking back at replays, and seeing when they're being giving easy times and when they're being set up for it. I think this is the day for Prince Achille. So I will answer you direct. Between 10 and 12 to 1, I will be having a fairly big each way bet on Prince Achille and the 335 Newcastle. What's your first one, Stephen? What have you got for us? Give it to me.
Give it to you. Give it to you.
God.
Well, Stephen's going to love this, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
He's going to absolutely
No,
love
he's
this.
going to
So you
hate me
might have
for
had a
this.
precursor to this.
Yeah.
We've got a lovely 3-runner mares hurdle at Wetherby, which normally you think, well, I'm not going to touch that with a bloody barge pole. But I think it is worth pointing out again that Wetherby have put 27 mil of rain on. I think it could be set up for Dysart Enos. It's worth noting Katira ran over 3 miles, didn't stay quite
No, it didn't.
on this corresponding card last year. I could see Golden Ace needing the run. They're not gonna, give it too much of a hard
Because
time.
it's a long, hard season, isn't it,
It's
Stephen?
a long, hard season, and she's the champion hurdler, and she's also got to give Dysart Enos, some weight. Now, tongue straps on for Dysart Enos, fit off the flat,
Yeah.
arguably the most suited to this sort of track. 2 miles, quick 2 miles round here, providing it doesn't rain too much. And I thought she was a bit of value. I just thought that this race was better for her. She's not, she's not the best mare in the race, but
Yeah,
the
yeah.
conditions are best for her. So I'll go with Dysart Enos.
What are you looking for? What price, lad? What are you looking for?
Well, she's about 6 or 13 to 2. I'd back her. I'd certainly back her at anything 9 to 2 northwards. I think she might get backed
Yeah, that's
because I think people might look at the race like me,
yeah,
which is
that's a
very big
dirty
headed.
bet, isn't it? Outsider of 3. That's a dirty little bet. Now, the horse I'm going to put up second, I don't think it's going to be a big price, and it's not necessarily for Saturday because I think it's further down the line. It's a long-term campaign. 340 at Ayr for Walking on a Dream, trained by Lucinda Russell and young Scoo, who was a real eye-catcher in 3-pointer points, finishing second on each occasion. Actually ran in some good hurdle races last year, but he's an absolute brute of a horse, and he's meant to go chasing him. And he's bigger than you, Stephen. He's absolutely, he's Troy. He's absolutely Troy, Trojan horse. And I think the more he grows into that frame and strengthens up, I think he can go through the grades over fences. He was useful tool as a novice hurdler, but I think he'll be an awful lot better over fences. I think he might be fairly short on Saturday as concerned 340 at Ayr, but put him in your notebook. I think long term, he is a horse to keep on the right side. That's Walking on a Dream, 340 at Ayr, which brings us to...
I'll be at Ayr on Saturday, actually. I've seen this horse run on all rule starts, so there you are.
How many miles do you drive in a year? You're absolutely off your head, aren't you?
It's over 40,000.
And how often do you change your car?
Well, I have a very old Audi diesel, and it keeps just bloody going. And it's in for its MOT on Tuesday.
I thought it was chitty bang.
But no, honestly, it just keeps going and going and going. It's like Sybil faulty. So there's your Prunella Scales gag. Wasn't faulty Towers great?
Oh, bless her. What a
Bless
lovely
her.
woman.
I love Prunella.
Yeah. Okay, what's your second selection, Steve-O?
Well, I do love a double dip, don't you?
I'm not even going there. Is your wife listening to this? I hope she isn't.
No. I just wanted to play this 205 at Ascot on Saturday. People say,
Okay.
"Oh, well, what the hell are you doing putting 2 up?" If I think the market's wrong, it's there to be exploited. And it can be exploited on more than one horse. I'm sure you do this, Paul. I think Loda Sue is not greatly handicapped off 155.
Okay.
I think it could struggle as a second season novice. I thought this race was fairly ripe for a bit of a, well, not a result as such, but I thought Martator, who has a very good record round Ascot, 3 from 4, trained by Venetia. Now she had her first runner of the proper season at Fontmill on Sunday. This horse loves Ascot. This horse has a very good record first time out. I don't think the mark's bad at all. I think 141 is perfectly tractable and tends to go well at around this time of year. I think certainly got a very, very good chance. And Ned Fox is taking 5 off. I think the other one to back, just again at this stage of the season, is Special Cadu, who we saw Henry de Bromhead win a handicap last week at Cheltenham.
Yeah.
Ran perfectly well at Roscommon. He's good to firm in places at Ascot as well. So I just thought quick ground round here. I don't think 142's beyond it at this stage in the season. For all
Okay.
that, some of these will improve past it.
Yeah. So what you're saying, where the maths works out, you can bet more than one in a race if you work your percentages. Yeah. Simple as that.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think
No,
you'd do
that.
it, wouldn't you?
Absolutely, do it all the time. I used to remember the guy. There's a professional punter at Walthamstow Dogs who was a mathematician. He used to bat 3 or 4 dogs in the same race and come out with a profit every single race because racing and betting is all about maths. That's what it's about. Apart from doing your form analysis and everything, but if you work out the odds in your favour, and they are in your favour because you do need an edge, then you play. It's as simple as that, isn't it? It's as simple.
You do, and you double dip.
We double dip. Now, listen, we had a really good guest on today's Racing Alternative. I've no idea what's in store for the next few weeks, but whatever you do, whatever you're watching on, whatever medium watching on, give us a like, give us a follow, visit the website at NRGBet to find out for yourself for safer gambling resources. Please visit gambleaware.org. You can get the prices on all the horses we've kind of tipped up, also with NRG as well. And have you got any ideas for next 2 or 3 weeks for?
God knows, maybe we could get the chairman of the Badger Ales on to send us some free booze because it's the Badger Beer next week at Wincampton.
Get in. We'll have a bit of that. What are you? Are you a lager or a real ale fan?
Oh, more real ale, Guinness, lager. Lager just tastes like cat piss.
You're so hard. You're well hard, aren't you, Stephen?
Yes.
Stephen, listen, have a good trip up to Scotland. And you're coming back to Carlisle on Sunday, aren't you?
Back home, Carlisle. Back home, Wolverhampton.
Okay. Ooh. And to everybody listening in for the first edition of the Racing Alternative, thank you very much. Hopefully, we've given you a bit of an alternative view, as the podcast name suggests. And maybe next week, we're going to go for the jugular on a couple of subjects that maybe you can join in. We're looking to get you involved with maybe one punter every other episode to come live onto the show. So you're not just listening to our shit. We can listen to your shit as well. We'll be back next week with the Racing Alternative. So it's a goodbye from me and a goodbye from him.
Yes, it's a goodbye from me. And don't forget the Badger Ales.
Thank you. Good night, sir.